All right, welcome back to lesson 8-3, day 2 of the notes. So at the top here, you can see we have our different shapes that we learned about yesterday. So parallelogram, triangle, trapezoid, and circle. And then we have all of our formulas that are listed on the other side. So it's exactly what we talked about yesterday. Just remember, for a triangle, you can have it as area is equal to your base times your height divided by 2. And then for the trapezoid, you can have your area is equal to base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2, and then everything times your height. Okay? And also for pi, for the circle, we're using 3.14. So those formulas will all be given to you guys. Okay? So today we have composite figures. So composite figures is when we take two different shapes and we put them together to make a new shape. So if you look here, it says find the area of the composite figure. So we have, I'm going to outline it in a couple different colors so that you can see. So this shape here we have is our semicircle, so that's our pink. And then the other shape that we have here is our triangle, and that's going to be in blue. Okay, so let's start with our semicircle. So a semicircle, as you can see, is half of a normal circle. So a normal circle, we have the formula is A is equal to pi r squared. But if it's half of that, all we're going to do is take our answer and divide it by 2. Not our area. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that a little nicer. So we have A is equal to pi r squared, so pi times your radius squared, divided by 2. Okay, so if we're looking at this, it's showing in our figure that the 6 is the entire length, so from one side of the circle to the other. So that would mean that that's our diameter. So in order to find our radius, we have to take our 6 divided by 2, and we get 3. So 3 is going to be our radius. So in for pi, we're going to write 3.14, and we're going to multiply it by our radius squared. So our radius is 3, and we're going to square it. Remember, that does not mean 3 times 2, that means 3 times 3. And everything divided by 2. Okay, so from here, we would get A is equal to 3.14 times 9, and then everything divided by 2. And when you solve that, you get 14.13, and remember our area is squared, so it's going to be our units squared, so meters squared. So for our semicircle, we're going to write that on our lines. We're going to take 14.13 meters squared. Okay, now we're going to find our triangle. So for our triangle, we're going to put that in blue. We have, our formula is base times height divided by 2. So our base is 11. Our height is 6, and we're going to divide that by 2. So we have 11 times 6 is 66. Divide that by 2, and we get our area to equal 33, and then meters squared. So we're going to write our answer for our triangle's area, where it says triangle, so 33 meters squared. And in order to find the area of both combined into the big shape, you have to add them together. So we're going to do 14.13 meters squared plus 33 meters squared, and that gives us a total area of 47.13 and then meters squared. So that is our final answer of the area of this entire figure. Okay, so example number 2 says find the area of the composite figure. So same thing as before. So we have a triangle on the top. Okay, that's going to be in red, so let's write that over here. So we're going to have triangle, and we're just going to write it in red. And then we're going to have our rectangle. I'm going to squiggle it because I chose the same color as, of course. It's there. So the rectangle is going to be in that bluish color, and I'm going to write that over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our triangle. So we know that our triangle's formula is area is equal to base times height divided by 2. So the base of our triangle, we don't actually know it because it's right here. But in a rectangle, we know that opposite sides are equal. So if this side is equal to 15, that side's equal to 15. So we have our base of 15, and we have our height, which is listed to the side, is our 4. So 15 times 4. Then we would divide that by 2 to give us our area. So 15 times 4 is 60. Divided by 2, so we know our area is going to be 30 feet squared. So that's just for our triangle. So I'm actually going to write that over here. So 30 feet squared, this is for my triangle. Plus, because remember in composite figures, we need to add them together. So for a rectangle, I'm going to switch my color to blue. So rectangle we know is just base times height. So our base in our rectangle is 15 and our height is 12. So A is equal to 15 times 12. And 15 times 12 is equal to 180 feet squared. So I'm going to take what I got for my triangle plus what I got for my rectangle, which was 180 feet squared. And I'm going to add them together to get my total composite figure, which is going to end up being 210 feet squared. So that is my final answer. So we took our two different figures, added them together, and it gave us our entire figure. Go ahead and flip it to the back side for example 3. Okay, so example 3, you can see we have one shape here, which is our semicircle, so I'm going to write that in pink. And then I also have a rectangle, which I'm going to do in orange. I'm going to write that next to it. Excuse me. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is solve for our semicircle. So remember, a semicircle is the same formula as a circle, but dividing by 2. So we're going to use 3.14 for pi. We're going to multiply it by our radius. So if you notice in your semicircle, 1.5 is equal to the diameter, and we need our radius. So we need to divide by 2. So if we divide by 2, 1.5 divided by 2 is 0.75, so that's going to be our radius. So we have 0.75 squared, and then divide that whole thing by 2. And so what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to do 0.75 times 0.75 to get that number first. So we're going to get area is equal to 3.14 times 0.5625. Divide the whole thing by 2. So 0.5625 times 3.14 gives us a pretty long number. We get 1.76625. Divide that by 2. And we get 0.883125. We're just going to round to the nearest hundredth. So we're just going to say 0.88 feet squared. Okay. Then for our rectangle, so this is a little bit of an easier one. We're just doing base times height. So we have our base of 1.5 times our height of 2. And 1.5 times 2 is going to give us 3 feet squared. So in order to find the total composite figure added together, we have to take what we got for our semicircle, so 0.88 feet squared, plus, then we're going to add what we got for our rectangle, so 3 feet squared, and that's going to give us our total, which is going to be 3.88 feet squared. So this is the last and final step that you need to make sure that you have. Thanks for watching, everybody.